My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of the 2022 movie Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Now, growing up, I used to watch the short films of Chip 'n Dale all the time. The ones where Chip 'n Dale are running away from Donald Duck or they're trying to steal his pancakes or something, and I used to love those. They cracked me up all the time, and my grandma owned a VHS tape of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, so I watched this show quite a bit too. So these characters are a big part of my childhood, and when I heard they were making a movie about them, my first reaction was, why? Don't do this to me. But then they announced that the Lonely Island guys would be behind it, they would be writing and directing it, and I'm like, you know what, I'd give it a shot. So when the first trailer came out, I was just like, never mind, this movie looks like a raging piece of crap. So my expectations were as low as they could be. I thought this was going to be just a huge dumpster fire, and it's not that, but it's not a good movie either. I'm just going to address my biggest complaint right off the bat, and it's the voice cast. I like John Mulaney and Andy Samberg. They're funny guys, but their voices do not match their characters. Whenever Chip talked and I heard John Mulaney, it threw me off. It's just the voice doesn't belong to that character. Eventually, I got used to it, and by that point, the movie ended. So it just was something that never worked for me. It's like if you watch a foreign film dubbed and someone's talking when the character is, and the voice just doesn't match the character and it just throws you off, and that's what watching this movie is like. And even you've got Will Arnett voicing the villain, and I have the same issue there. Whenever the villain talked and I heard Will Arnett's voice, the two don't go together. It threw me off for the entire movie. And I hated the way they handled these characters. Dale was always a bumbling idiot, and Chip always got annoyed by Dale. And you just don't get that here. You just get these other characters entirely voiced by John Mulaney and Andy Samberg. There's nothing about them that actually feels like Chip 'n Dale. The villain voiced by Will Arnett, I didn't like at all. They had a funny idea, but they didn't really lean into it enough, and his introduction scene just threw me off. Because they're like, oh, this is going to be a bad guy, and then the bad guy's just like, what? No, I'm friendly. And he's friendly for like 5 seconds, and then he's like, kill them. You're just like, that was a very messy scene. And you've also got Nikki Lane, who I thought was really awful. It can't be easy pretending to talk to two tennis balls like they're actual characters. It's a difficult job, and she did not pull it off. The only voice performance that worked for me in this movie was someone who I didn't even know was in this, and that's J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is just one of the best actors ever. He gave one of the best voice performances last year in Omni-Man, and even though this is a completely different kind of character, he hits every single comedic beat he needs to. I thought he was just a delight whenever he was on screen. Then you've also got one character played by Tim Robinson, and I won't give away who it is, but I will say that the idea of who he's playing is really hilarious, but the actual execution of it is just beyond underwhelming. Every joke we got in this character was just nowhere near as funny as it could be. And there are some really funny and clever ideas here. Like the main plot, I really like the idea of, but the overall execution of it, I just found to be lacking. I just wanted more from this movie. There's so many cameos and craziness, and it's all artificial. When you get to the real bones of this story, it's very generic and very safe. It's reliant on that other stuff to make it seem more entertaining than it really is. Like I said, I don't like the way they handled the characters, but even the character work for what this movie is doing with them did not work for me. None of the heartfelt elements were really felt by me. It all felt generic, and I didn't really care for the main friendship between Chip and Dale. I also thought the storytelling felt very clunky. It's all over the place and never works. And I also didn't really find this movie to be funny at all. There was a few times where I was just like, that's kind of funny. And there was this one scene involving a rap that I was expecting to really hate, but I actually did find it to be quite funny. That's the scene where you can tell it was the Lonely Island guys behind this movie. But even though I didn't like this movie, I do want to give props to the director, Akiva Schaffer. This movie might not have a lot of style, but he is able to pull off the ambition of this movie. Because he's combining 2D animation, 3D animation, real life, and even at moments, puppet work. All at the same time, and that can't be an easy task. And as far as I'm aware, he's only ever directed Hot Rod and Popstar, so this is a totally different kind of movie for him to direct, and I think he directs it fine enough. Once again, there's not much style on display, but he pulls off what's needed for this movie. And look, I have lots of issues with this movie, but it was nowhere near as bad as I was expecting. I didn't hate myself while watching it. There was a few clever ideas, you can see the potential in it, but it just never fully delivers. It's a movie that if you want to have your kids be entertained for a little bit, you can sit down and watch it with them and you won't want to shoot yourself. But it's not a movie I think I'll ever revisit. So I'm going to go ahead and give Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers a 4.5 out of 10. Like I said, some good ideas, and if they just leaned into that a bit more and shied away from the more generic storytelling and the over-reliance on cameos, this movie could have actually been a pretty decent one, but it doesn't quite get there. But have you seen Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.